Hello guys, so today I want to talk to you about essentially attack mapping platform called intrigue.io. It doesn't say it anywhere, can I? Here we go, intrigue core, intrigue.io. And intrigue.io is actually pretty incredible. So I'm just going to dive in the example right away because explaining it is too hard. So let's say we're doing a bug bounty. Let's say we selected Palo Alto software as our target. We can just type it. Here's the website we'll be targeting. Palo Alto as our new project. And let's create an entity. Palo Alto. It's actually not even called an entity, let's call it a domain. And so what this will essentially do is it will scan the domain and save the results. But what this will actually do is iterate down on the results. So if it finds a domain, it will scan that. If it finds an IP and related to that domain, it will then run a port scan on that, and so forth, and essentially trickle down. So you do have to be very, very careful. If you go for too many iterations, you can end up scanning a big chunk of the internet, which you definitely don't want to do, and you could get in a lot of trouble. Yes, and that's also why I'm taking something from a bug bounty, just so I can always say I was looking for a bug bounty if I get into trouble. But let's go with 5 iterations here and start running, and you'll see you get your pretend terminal here, and you see it instantly start listing. It's found emails, relevant domains, and this will run for absolutely ages. You should see the memory start to spike, and that's a really good thing about this platform is I can leave this running, open another tab, and keep going. So if you have lots and lots and lots of memory, you can essentially run lots of different scans in parallel to each other. So we'll let this run. It should take a while, and I'll show you some done results. So I did the scan on Yahoo that I ran for several hours. And let's just show it all the different entities that it found. So already email addresses, web accounts. So let's have a look at that one. So it's got a username, a service, and a URL. So basically, if you want to try and brute force this username, you could if you were a hacker more than a good guy. Lots and lots of DNS records and IP addresses. Let's say we decide we were interested in this IP address. You could basically decide you want to do an Nmap scan on that IP address. It's already got some defaults it's suggesting. Iterations, we could do 2, so if we found anything else we can iterate again, and we can run this task. And there we go. And then we could just let that run and keep moving and go back to Palo Alto and see how things are developing there. So already Palo Alto, got 1 web account. Doesn't look too interesting. Email addresses. Noah at Palo Alto, that's interesting, but we'll leave that for now. Let's just have a look at all of the entities. So you can kind of see the power of this sort of mapping software that iterates down on itself. But it does take an awful lot of power to run something like this. Right now this machine only has 8 gigs, which will definitely slow down its ability to scan. So net block, that's basically IP range. And this is something just to get a very wide map of what, just, a target that you were looking into. And it also is very modular, as you can see. So there's absolutely a ton you can do. Like I can put my Shodan token in there and get good Shodan results, etc. Can put it in the Alien Vault OTX. Import Shodan JSON. So basically it's you can basically do everything. And you can also, there's a bunch of publicly made modules that you can add on. So if you wanted, let's say you didn't like Nmap or Mesan and you wanted to scan it with Nessus, I'm sure there's a plugin out there for that, etc. So it's an hugely large and powerful tool to just trying to gather up, essentially just gather wide amounts of data that give you a place to start hacking and looking, and it's especially good when doing bug bounties. So let's have a look. Nmap scan still running. Enrich my Palo Alto domain scan still running. It still might find new things. So it is time consuming, but that's because it's doing so much, and it obviously will be faster with a more powerful system. So yeah, that's Intrigue. It's really good. I recommend you guys try it and check it out, especially if you are looking for bugs. Let's actually show you a couple more things. Let's have a look at entities, see if we can find a router or something. All right, here you go. So you see it's detected this is a Cisco device, and so you do have the option of running a vulnerability for that device on it. And obviously if you do this is where you start breaking the law. So you do have to be really careful with what you're doing with this tool, because it is very powerful, but it is also you're shooting in every direction, and if you hit the wrong thing, you're breaking the law. So I would advise precautions, and I would advise sensibility, and I would advise reading as much documentation as you can stand before you go and use the tool. So yep, that's basically, again, the name, intrigue.io. I'd recommend looking into it, especially if you're looking at doing bug bounties. So there you go, guys.